This is section 8 of the SPS 6 Alabama southbound I-59. We've got the sampling that was done before the site. You can see the end of section 7, which is the previous section to this. The signs from the state DOT don't correspond to this section, but we do have a nail. We do have a knockdown delineator, so this is definitely our site. The markings were still here. This section, as you can see or cannot see, is pretty much cracking all the way from the edge to the center stripe, and it's this funky pattern. There are some block cracking photos showing this, and some in the fatigue as well, low severity fatigue photos. So we went ahead and called this fatigue in the wheel path, where it was in the wheel path, and block throughout the rest of the section. It's kind of, from this angle, I guess it's kind of hard to see all the cracking unless you're directly above it. But these blocks are, if you can call them blocks, are about 2 feet by 2 feet. They're not perfectly rectangular, but if not, there's just a whole bunch of longitudinal transverse laced in between the fatigue. So we considered it block with fatigue in the wheel paths. The distresses are consistent throughout the entire section. The only thing that may change is, I don't know if you can see, the texture of this surface is kind of rough. And what we've got is little, they're almost like clay balls that we had in our section at the SPS 1 and 5 in Oklahoma. But these look like they're iron aggregate with some kind of iron, because they're rusted. And every single one of these little spalls, which are about 1/4 in diameter, that one's maybe a $half size, but each one of these has this this aggregate type where the rust is, and so you can see how pitted it is throughout the section along the cracks. And all that, like I say, all of that forms from aggregate just like that. So it's an aggregate issue, a mix issue, with these pop-outs. I didn't consider that necessarily a whole lot of spalling on the cracks, which might change the severity, because when you actually look at the cracks themselves, outside of the spalls, they are of low severity. And again, the areas where there are spalls is just where that aggregate is. So anyway, that's the justification for what we called what we called. Continuing down, station 2. As I said, pretty consistent cracking pattern throughout the entire section. All we did was define the wheel paths, find the fatigue, and counted everything else. Block. Core hole here, just past station 3. Coming up on 350. Again, you know, all the spalls have that one type of aggregate. So not really climate or load induced, just a material defect. There's a good. And that aggregate is about the size of a nickel. And the spall is about the size of 1/4 or $half. But anyway, almost to the end of the section. Again, this cracking pattern continuous throughout the section. all the way to station 5, which again is well marked. We have our nail. Those are the sample holes at the end of the section. And that is the end of section 8 of the SPS 6 Alabama southbound I-59, September 12th, 06. Next section is section 63, supplemental.